All right, my couture crafters, let's get into another card that matches a quilt. So I call this the Bear Den quilt. That's my cousin's last name, and she likes bears. So, of course, I made a bear card that was based off that little bear that you just saw. So let's get into it. First thing I did was grab a strip of cardstock. This was a random strip. I don't know what paper it was. It was thick, but I don't think it was Nina. I think it was probably some Recollections cardstock, which comes up kind of blotchy when I blend it with these Distress Oxides, but Distress Oxides are a faster blend than an ink. So I just grabbed them and throw down some color. And if you're doing it on your Tim Holtz mat, you can just wipe it up with a towel. I didn't want to put my fingerprints on it, so I grabbed a paper towel, and now I am blending on the other side. No real rhyme or reason, I'm just throwing color down, trying to get some color on that cardstock. I do not wash those brushes in between. I just take a towel or a paper towel and just switch the colors. And I haven't really had any issues with contamination or anything like that. They work pretty good. Again, this is not my best blending job. I was just trying to get some color down so that I can cut out the spools of thread, which is what I use my Cricut to do. I just use one of the the Access available Cricut Cricut images to cut out a spool. So that's what this is supposed to be. If I was really doing something, I could have colored it and made it look like thread, but coloring is not really my gift, so this is good enough. And so I grabbed my favorite adhesive, that art glitter glue, and I'm just gluing down the centers onto the spool of the spools. Now you're going to take your teddy bear pieces. I think I got these from, I think these came from Marjorie Ann Designs, but just look for a paper piece bear. It's not that serious. Just grab some shapes, cut them out. I have my Cricut cut mine out, but there are free, they call them tear bears, TEAR bears. And I saw some free patterns and all of that. I'm playing with this Beacon Fabri-Tac glue because people swear by it. It works fine. It dries way faster than I remembered because I usually don't use it. I usually use my other glue, but I figured I would try this for today. So what you do is you put the glue on there, and then you find the smooth side of some fleece fabric, and you just place it down on the fabric with enough room so that you can cut them out. That glue dried a little faster than I was ready for, and with this bigger piece, I couldn't play that game. So I had to add some more glue down. That glue dries incredibly quick, and it's acetone based, so it's no water in there. So you don't have to worry about it buckling paper, which is why people like that glue. It's messy for me. This bottle actually is the best behaving bottle that I've seen. It hasn't dried out or anything on me. But again, people swear by that glue. It's strong though. If you don't like the smell of acetone, that's not for you. And so then you just cut out the pieces. I'm using my Tim Holtz tonic scissors that are amazing. Oh, I love his scissors. And I'm just cutting around the shapes. It's pretty forgiving, so don't worry about being exact. Just cut them out. And now I have the pieces for my bear. You see I'm only doing the top half of the bear. Now we are going to chalk the edges of the fabric. I'm using chalk ink. I'm sure other inks will work too. It's just what we've always done is use chalk ink to ink the bears. And I just have my little foam blending tool, and I'm using the colors Chestnut Roan here and I think it's something roast. Chestnut Roan and something roast. I don't know what it is, but the darker one. I'm sure you can find those somewhere. And you just go around the edges, and now look, my little bear has dimension. Now I'm playing with the eyes. Where you place the eyes kind of give your bear his personality. If you place them really close together, he might look like he's, a little cross-eyed and cute, or you tilt them down, they look like they're sad, blah, blah, blah. You have to play with it to figure out your placement for eyes. If you look at the top right, I chose to keep some white around the entire part of the eye. Now I'm grabbing a wire brush and I'm fluffing out the fleece. This is my favorite part because this is when you really see the little bear fluff up. It goes from being fleecy to like little hairs. Be careful with that brush. That brush is wiry and sharp and it can poke you. But you see the difference? On the left is one that hasn't been done and on the right is one that looks like the hair. Oh, just love it. Ignore my nails. We're not even going to have that conversation. We're just not going to have a nail conversation today. Pandemic is wearing on me, guys. So I just grabbed some chalks and I grabbed this little clippy thingy and I grabbed some pink chalk and I'm just dabbing a little bit on and working my way up. Again, when you're working with fabric, you can't just erase it. So start with a little bit and then work your way up. And I'm pouncing on here for the blush. Then I decide that I want to bring the eyes to life just a little bit. So I'm grabbing a little white behind on the black. And it'll be behind my highlight. See? Can you see the difference? I see it. This black is so dark. It's a pan pastel, and I grab one of my pan pastel tools here, and I'm just going around the eyes to give it a little shadow. And now I'm darkening it in. See? Just giving the eyes a little place to sit. And I'm kind of poking it in and blending it out. Using chalk on fabric is actually quite fun. It really comes off on there. See, look at how dark I can get it. And I can blend it out. So much fun. I enjoyed that. I should play with chalks more on these bears. And then when I'm finished, I just grab a paper towel and wipe the tool off, and then I can go into another color without contamination. So now I'm looking at my bear, and I'm deciding where I want the eyes to go. And now we're going to give Mr. Bear some eyelashes. And I am just flicking with these micron pens, which are a permanent pen, and they will write on fabric without coming out. And then we're just going to plop the eyes on there. And now look, we have some eyelashes and a little bit of a shadow. So much fun. I enjoy making these bears. I haven't done one in a really long time. And now I'm doing the catch light, which is really bringing the bear's eyes to life. See? Now he looks like he's looking at us. And I'm just putting dots, some bigger dots and smaller dots. And depending upon where you put them, it's kind of the look that you'll get with your bear. Now I'm using a little bit more glue. No rhyme or reason as to why I'm using this versus the one that I usually use. I'm just kind of picking them up and using them interchangeably. Now I grabbed these Karen brush markers that I bought for, I don't know, no reason. I just had to have them because I saw people were using them and it was a thing. And you see these glasses? This bear is inspired off of that block right there. That's the only bear in the whole quilt with glasses that are colored. All the other bears have black. My family member loved her quilt so much. I was so happy. I really enjoy the way that these markers work. I want to play with them more and more and more. And look, now the little glasses look like the glasses on the bear, which mimic my all-time favorite fabric that I've ever used. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see that fabric is all over my cubicle because I love it so much. Oh. And then I decided to put the glasses under the nose because when you put them on top, I would have had to try to use some foam and balance it, and it just wasn't working. And it still looked cute underneath the nose, so that's where they went. On the actual bear under the nose. Look at how cute the glasses look on Mr. Bear. I went ahead and did a little highlight on that black part of the bear's nose too. Using a little bit of this beacon glue and putting my head in the way. And now we have Mr. Bear. Best paper stack ever. Sunny Studio, huge fan of their stamps. The company, I'm a fan of Sunny Studio. They've been around for a while and they make really good quality products. And I chose that background and I paper pieced all this stuff, guys. This is pretty much a paper pieced card. And that was just a for you that I found on my Cricut that I paid for with Access. So nothing special there. Now for the card base, I had some basil cardstock that I probably got from either Michael's or Joann's. And I cut it down to 6 inches. And this blue is going to be the envelope, which I cut down to 9 3/4 square. And that makes a nice envelope that will fit a chunky 6x6. Whenever you're using the 123 punch board by We Are Memory Keepers, that envelope is always going to be a little larger than the old school one by We Are Memory Keepers. So if you're doing something that's super layered like this bear, use the new punch board because it's going to be bigger. Or go a size up if you're using the old We Are Memory Keepers board, guys. So here I just bent the card, scored the card, and then folded it to make the card base. And now I'm fidgeting with this glue because it's thick, it's different. And I chose to use this glue because I know it's not going to buckle the back of the paper. I usually don't have too much problems with my glue that I love so much showing on the other side of the paper, but I knew this wouldn't because, again, it's acetone based and it doesn't buckle paper at all. I decided that I wanted to do another pair of glasses because I was really having fun playing with those markers. So I pulled them out again and I cut another pair of glasses, the exact same glasses again with my Cricut. Again, another pair that I just happened to have found on the Access. And what I'm saying, guys, is Access by Cricut, which is if you pay a monthly subscription, you have access to a bunch of tons of fonts and images. And these were just a pair that I found in there. Actually, my quilt, all the glasses on my quilt were cut out with the Cricut. I was just going through finding glasses and then I sized them up and then I just put them on the bear. That bear pattern that I use for that quilt is by Elizabeth Hartman and it's her Bjorn bear pattern. And I love that pattern. It's perfect. I won't be doing that again though because it's a ton of work, but hey, she's worth every bit of it. And so apparently I wanted to show you the whole coloring process of this. I wish I had used a different lighter blue. It's not the same light blue that I used, but this pair of glasses came out better than the other pair of glasses. But the color of the blue was just a little off. Not a big deal at all, just something that I noticed that maybe nobody else will ever notice. And I'm just put that envelope behind me because I am a neat freak and I just cannot stand to have like done that on that Tim Holtz tonic mat and then cleaned it up. Like, no, just put a piece of paper behind it. You'll notice that I do a lot of that. Even when I stamp out my Misty, I put paper behind it so it doesn't ink up the background and whatnot. So I'm pulling out my 123 punch board, and this is a square card. So the first score line that you use should be the same score line all the way around, all four sides. So we're going to punch and score, and you get a nice big roomy envelope. When I say that's a big one, there's a lot of layers on that bear. I decided I wanted to do a liner. I have a whole video tutorial about making liners for envelopes. You measure from the tip to the corner and you stop about a quarter of the way before you hit the corner, and whatever that measurement is, that's the square that you cut. Cut the square. This one happened to be 4.5 inches. I rounded the top corner. I put it in my envelope maker at 4.5. The square is 4.5. I put it at 4.5. And I punched the opposite sides. And I'm making sure the rounded corner goes at the top. And now I'm going to add adhesive on everything above that line. There's an imaginary line. You want to add all the adhesive above that. I'm jumping in the way to make sure that my stamp is getting a good impression because I didn't use a stamper's tool. I just freehanded that. And then I'm grabbing some glasses because all envelopes should match their cards. We're hand doing things. If you're hand doing it, make it match. I grab my favorite glue there because it has the itty bitty nozzle, which is great for precision glue application. And we place that down. Great pair of glasses. Now watch. I'm going to put adhesive only above that line. See? Everything goes above that line, not below it. I just leave the below without any glue on it. It needs to be able to move a little bit. And there you go. And you're going to fold it down. And we'll close it up, which will keep that flap down. And we're closing it. I should have used a better adhesive. That's not the best adhesive for that. And there we have it. So I wrote my sentiment on Mr. Bear. And now I'm just going to close up the tip just a little bit. I was hand delivering this quilt. I wasn't mailing it, so I really didn't need to seal it all that great. And you know, anything that I do is definitely coming with a wax seal. I don't have long nails anymore, so no need to use a spaghetti pasta to light my candles. I'm not worried about my nails catching fire. So here we'll just pour it nice and slow and try to get a good round dot. I should have used 4. I used 3. I'm having the worst trouble sealing on camera. I can't seal on camera to save my life, but whatever. I used a D for her name, which is also the Disney D with a castle in the center. Love that. It's the Disney seal. And now we are cleaning up, and that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.